think consistency is so important in who you are. Anybody that recognizes good leadership, you're going to stay put. If you feel like your culture is strong and things are in a good place, you want to hire from within. You need to start preparing yourself now so that when that opportunity presents itself, you can step right into it. We just need to come alongside each other and just say, hey, we got this.
Hey everybody, it's Pat Cohan with the THSADA Director's Cut. I have it with me here, Jennifer Frazier from McKinney ISD. Interviewed her a ton of times for different snippets, but this is the first opportunity we've had to have her on the Director's Cut. Special thanks goes out to LED Partners for making this beautiful setup. It's a mobile setup on wheels, was able to put it together in less than 90 minutes, and we were up and running. So if you're looking for a mobile display at your next event, check out LED Partners. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoy this THSADA Director's Cut. Jennifer, it's great to see you here at the Spring Sponsor Showcase. Now, as I said earlier, we've gotten to interview you a lot of times. I've learned a lot of little parts about your story and your district and the little things that you like to do, from weekly videos to the school bus to the, remember that, the little school bus?
That goes back, yes.
But for those that don't know you, maybe the younger athletic administrators, give me your origin story of how you got into athletic administration.
Sure, absolutely. Well, my story is a little bit unique. Most people start off coaching and at the middle school and kind of work their way up, and I'm exactly the opposite. I started in college, then went directly to a high school coaching position. I stayed there and then chose to make a stage of life decision and stayed home and raised my kids for a couple of years. And so when I went back into coaching, raising all boys and coaching girls just didn't work out with the priorities I had at that time in my life. So chose to go into a middle school coordinator position and had never coached middle school before. So had done college and high school, but just felt like a stage of life. I needed to have a little bit of that balance. And so went into middle school coaching and did that for about 2 years, and then hopped right into athletic administration. And I've been doing that for about 12 years.
And
so
you've done a phenomenal job.
Thank you. You're sweet. Thank you.
And you've gotten to learn from a lot of great people.
Absolutely.
So what mentors really made this jump back into administration more possible?
Well, I think first and foremost, I'm just in an incredible district. And it started obviously with my boss at the time, Sean Pratt, who now is actually my superintendent. And so I think anybody that recognizes good leadership, you're going to stay put, and you're going to kind of, you're going to ride on those coattails as long as you can. And so to be in a place where you have the support to be who you want to be professionally, but also personally, it's been a blessing. And so I think just those opportunities have opened, and I've stepped into them. And sometimes I've stepped into them not really knowing if I was ready for them, and other times, with full confidence, but just knowing that I had the support around me, and that's what mattered. How
do you try to take that great mentorship that you had from Sean Pratt and others and try to do that for your people? I've been seeing you walking around with some of, the new assistant athletic administrators that you have at McKinney, and you guys are attached at the hip. And you're introducing him to people. You're taking them to dinner. So absolutely. I'm seeing you do what probably Sean Pratt did with you.
Right.
But on the daily, how can athletic administrators grow those leaders to help them, in their roles later on?
Yeah, it's so important. If you wait to get prepared when the opportunity presents itself, then you're going to be in trouble. You need to start preparing yourself now so that when that opportunity presents itself, you can step right into it. And so I believe there's incredible value in just pulling along people. I heard one time that if you feel like your culture is strong and things are in a good place, you want to hire from within. If you feel like something's not right and you need to maybe make some changes, then it's probably good to go outside and hire somebody. And, so right now I feel like we have a lot of really great things going on at McKinney ISD. And so there's a lot of amazing people that I get to work with daily. And so the more that I can pour into them and kind of pull them along so that hopefully, whether it's an opportunity within McKinney or outside of McKinney, they can step into it because they're ready. And so that's really my heart's desire.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. If you're always trying to push your people to take on the next role, it builds this culture of improvement and trying to get better. But how do you not criticize, but critique people in your organization if it isn't up to the standard without totally just cutting down their momentum or their confidence?
Yeah.
Like, what is that balance? Because I think you do it really well.
Well, thank you for that. I've talked about this before. I heard a long time ago about the power of just little J jerk conversations. It's an interesting topic, but obviously you have a capital J and you have a lowercase j. And as a leader, you have to be willing to have those little J jerk conversations along the way so that at one point you don't get pent up and just kind of explode on somebody and have a capital J, uppercase J jerk conversation, to then obviously you've ruined the relationship. Maybe you've said some things you can't get back. That's detrimental to any leadership program or any leadership relationship that you might have. And so I think just my strongest desire is to lead through encouragement and to lead through affirmation. It's who I am. It's what I love to do. But that does not discount that there does need to be times that maybe you just come alongside and say, hey, you know what? This is not really who we are. This is not how we would make these decisions. And so let's come around. Let's just have that little small J jerk conversation. Super easy, super simple. And then we move on. And I think people are more receptive to that than people that just hold back the information and then one day just explode because it's not going right. And so I just don't ever want to be that person that has that, big J jerk conversation.
Now, that's inside your organization. Outside your organization, when you're dealing with more political issues, maybe district-wide things or statewide things, how do you maybe critique or move the conversation when it's not going the right way for what you believe in? Like, Is that always a big J jerk kind of thing of like, hey, I don't think this is right. I need to put my foot down? Or because sometimes those little J in the outside world, you don't have that relationship with people and they don't hear how big of an issue it may be.
That's right.
So how do you manage more statewide or district-wide or section-wide issues? You can't always just be the nice person, right?
Absolutely. Well, and that's a unique, you're right. And that's a challenge today because as we know, public education is under attack. And so at the end of the day, I think consistency is so important in who you are. And I a lot of times we may not feel like we have a relationship with somebody or feel like, we've had opportunities to really get to know that person, but that person might know enough about our district or about how we do things. And so really leaning into relationships, I do believe in the power of discernment and listening more than you speak. And, you might hear something that you think, I don't really know that I agree with that. But now might not be the time for me to speak up. Let me just discern a little bit. Let me find out a little bit more information. Maybe let me try to make a little more effort to get back in front of that person, have a conversation offline. Maybe, hey, could we go to lunch? Could I talk to you about something? A hallway conversation. I think that's where the power is.
But I think some people get stuck in the waiting and then they never do.
Probably.
Like I personally listen a lot, but I don't really ever enforce. Like that's something I need to improve on is the ability to take what I'm thinking and put it out into the world. And I think a lot of athletic administrators or aspiring athletic administrators don't know when to say what's on their mind.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was, was attested yesterday in our conversations yesterday. We had some hot topic conversations that were going on at the tables, and a lot of people were on different sides of do you think this is what we should do or not do? And, and I heard a story a long time ago about a doctor who went to dinner with a lot of other doctors, and he was one of the most renowned doctors in the country. And he went to this dinner and really listened, and he asked a lot of questions and didn't really impart any of his wisdom on the younger doctors. And when they left, that his wife said, "Why didn't you talk? Why didn't you share? You're literally a renowned doctor." And he said, "I already know what I know what I know. I want to know what everybody else knows." And that story is so simple, but it was so powerful to me in the sense that, again, when we're sitting at the tables, I want to kind of know what everybody else is doing first before I open up my mouth. But I think we all can do a better job of what you're asking right now, especially knowing that we're juggling these state mandates and laws and regulations that are hitting us every time we turn around, and they're affecting us. And sometimes the decision makers don't quite understand the impact of the decisions. And so we do need to do a better job of making sure our voice is being heard. And so I think it's a challenge for all of us.
And like you said, education systems kind of under attack all the time with new things popping up. And that's why the THSCA and the THSADA have created this new initiative called EEP, Educate, Excel, Play. And for the month of April, we really want to highlight some of the benefits on the maybe elevated learning opportunities that the high education-based athletics provides. What are some examples of elevated learning opportunities?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think a lot of districts are doing a great job of offering a lot of opportunities for kids who have academics, maybe learning at different levels. And I know specifically for us in McKinney, they're launching a CAM Academy, which is a collegiate academic readiness academy. And so you are going to be able to enroll in that. And within 2 years, you will graduate. By the time you graduate from high school, you are going to go ahead and graduate with an associate's degree. And so
Wow.
that's an incredible opportunity. They just launched it. And alongside of that, right, you still get to continue to be a part of all the extracurricular opportunities. But we're partnering with Collin College, which is right next door to us, and creating this amazing opportunity that obviously is going to allow kids to propel them into their college pathway, but also too the fact that they're going to get to save money, and they're just going to put them further down the road. So there's so many great school districts doing so many great things that are offering higher level education opportunities for kids, but also coming along and servicing the kids that might need some more support and might need that. And so that's the power of public education. We are going to take everybody that walks in the door, and we're going to supply every resource that they might need to make sure that we support their education.
It's kind of like somebody going on trying to get more in shape, and they only use supplements instead of real foods. That's what I feel like the education system is. It's the whole balanced diet of a upbringing, as opposed to the supplements that will give you more protein, that will give you more creatine, but you're not having real food. You're not having real relationships, real experiences that the high school and other education-based systems provide. So that's what's great about the EEP. That's what's great about all these leaders that really care about the kids on both the THSADA and the THSCA. So as you jumped back into the administration, you had an unbelievable leader, Sean Pratt, and he was super involved in the THSADA. And how much did your career, or how easy did it make you to dive back into education-based athletics by being a part of the THSADA, almost by proxy with Sean Pratt?
Sure, absolutely. Well, it was modeled for me firsthand, just the importance of being involved in your associations. And we believe the same about coaches, just being involved with the THSCA and us being involved with THSADA. But when I first took over as director of athletics, I knew that I needed to make sure that I was locally within my own district being who I needed to be. And so I continued to show up to the conferences and do all the things, but I was not in a leadership role at the THSADA at the time. I really wanted to be where my feet were at that moment and make sure that I knew what I was doing in McKinney ISD before I ever even started, kind of separating some of my time and resources other places. But then naturally it just started to grow. And really my heartbeat and to just why I continue to enjoy stepping into leadership positions is I just want to encourage people. And I need encouragement daily. And I think as we just discussed, the landscape of education is changing drastically. And so I think we have to pivot, we have to be flexible, and we just need to come alongside each other and just say, hey, we got this. And so I sure do not have all the answers. I do believe that our association is an amazing association. It's got incredible resources. And then just to show up to events like this and just the little side hallway conversations, the things that I'm learning, or just a, hey, hug, glad to see you, and the encouragement from that is powerful. So I hope that McKinney ISD continues to stay a big part of the THSADA, well beyond myself.
Well, speaking of yourself, you currently do hold a leadership role, or will hold a leadership role. So tell us a little bit more about that and the things that you really want to champion as you hold that position.
Well, I think any time that you get to step into a leadership role because you're nominated by your peers or voted on by your peers, I think is just humbling. And, it's a blessing. I'm excited. There's some amazing people that have served in this role, and I look forward to just, again, really, I think it's an opportunity to hopefully get to have exposure to more people across the state of Texas. Obviously, I'm from Region 3, and so I've had an opportunity to lead out in Region 3, and that's, I believe we're a powerful region. I think we have some amazing leaders, but just across the state of Texas, for me personally, I want to get to know other people that are in all the other regions beyond Region 3. And get to know what are their needs, right? What are their struggles? What are their obstacles? And again, go back to just getting to put an arm around them, get to know them by their name, and say hi to them, and hopefully text them every once in a while and check in on them. And then if there's some issues that they might have in their area that doesn't affect me in the Metroplex, well, let's talk about that. Let's see how we can bring that to a bigger platform and hopefully address those concerns.
And that's statewide, but I want to now end it with going into your office. You know, I've had the privilege to speak with your administrative assistant, and I got all the little quirks on how you operate, your colorful calendar and all those things. And there's videos on the website about that. But what right now is McKinney ISD and Jennifer Frazier doing that's new with your day-to-day that you're excited about or seeing a lot of success with or improving your, you know, efficiencies? What's something new that you're leaning into this year?
That's a great question. You know, I think right now probably where we're leaning a little bit is just trying to do a little bit more video-based stuff with some of our newsletters, and just maybe just doing some things like when we do Coach of the Month, recording it through video, capturing it, things like that. Maybe trying to celebrate those because, as you know, obviously in your profession,
we do a lot of video.
That's right. And so I wish we could do it to the level that you do. But probably just trying to get innovative in those areas. I do think there's some things I've already just picked up on here that I think we're doing that are really, I think we're doing well, but I think we can always get better at things. And so just maybe trying to how to elevate, maybe some of it, hopefully for me, I want to try to look at how we can take our SALT team, our student athletic leadership team, that is functioning really well at the campuses, but I would love to even go beyond that and try to see what we can do to pull them in and maybe start to really almost make an alumni association, or what does that look like? You know, maybe bring, and again, I think we're in our third year of that, but maybe start to bring in some of those past athletes that have maybe moved on, but that could come back and that could pour in to our current athletes. You know, I'm reminded every year we do Hall of Honor, and I feel like we do our Hall of Honor induction ceremony every year at a very high level. It's an amazing banquet, and it is such a fill your cup moment because these athletes that were in McKinney that have, you know, gone before us and have had lots of success and come back. And the stories they tell, it reminds you of the power of athletics, and it reminds you the part of being a part of a team and how it literally can change the trajectory of people's lives. And I so many times think our kids need to hear that. They need to hear those stories. And I did that a couple of years ago. I brought them back and let our coaches hear that. I brought these people that can listen, and they got to talk to our coaches. But I thought, you know, that I was thinking yesterday, wouldn't that be cool if we started doing that with some of our athletes? We've got some athletes playing professional ball, and it's hard to get to them all the time. But even if just the ones that don't play professionally, maybe they're a business owner in town, and I thought just bringing those back. So, you know, you
could call it the PALs, past athletic leaders.
Love it. I love it. Exactly. And then just, again, doing just getting little snippets on video and trying to put that out so that parents don't hang on to the negative stuff. They also can hang on to the positive stuff. And I think that's where we are trying to grow. We have a long way to go. We need to get a lot better at it, but I'm at least trying to do a few things with that.
It's fascinating to talk to you all the time because I know you're always trying to find that next thing, and appreciate you sharing that one with you.
Absolutely.
And appreciate you sharing your story. It's always great to see you.
Thank you.
Glad you're here at the THSADA Spring Sponsor Showcase in Lake Conroe, Margaritaville.
Thank you.